the number one thing that's killing your gains is you're spending most of your time trying to build a list. If you're at a larger organization, it's fucking impossible to actually prospect. And this is important, even if you're good on the phones, because I don't know about you, but for me, I'm blind without.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Outbound Fluff, No Sales. We're going to talk about something we've never talked about before. We're going to pull back the hood. What is it like to work at an Outbound Operators client or in one of our outbound engines that we build? And how does that compare to your standard SDR role in 2026? If you enjoy this episode, let us know. If you hate it, definitely let us know in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe. Should we dive right into this one, Ryan?
Yeah, let's go. Coming in from sunny San Diego. Look at that background. It's not even virtual. Actual palm trees flowing in the wind.
Man, in an effort to not miss our daily recording, I just got back from the gym and Ryan's like, yo, are you ready to go? I haven't even showered yet. Why don't you tell people what it's like to be an SDR today in 2026 and maybe describe, like, if you hear us describing the role that you might be in and it's something that frustrates you because you know you're really skilled, when you get a conversation, when you get on the phone with a prospect, that's your zone. That's your zone of genius. That's where you thrive. But your system doesn't allow you to get in many conversations. Your manager wastes your time with stand-ups. Your CRO loves to pull you into BS things. You're writing emails because your boss wants you to hit an email KPI. Maybe you're doing some LinkedIn outreach too, because some kid who's 18 years old on LinkedIn tells you that's how you sell these days, doing outbound. So you're hardly having conversations. I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about what the role of the SDR looks like today in organizations that are still using the 2020 playbook.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I have front row access to this every day with the Call Blitz community. So, the reps that join the community, they're from all walks of life, and they have to deal with a lot of bullshit. So the first thing that I think is super frustrating as an SDR today is you are likely you're likely hired and given some basic tools, like you already said. You're doing some LinkedIn outreach, email outreach, or whatever, but that's probably enabled through a sequencer. And then you're also given some sort of database, which today companies aren't even investing in Zoom, which would be okay if you had it off of LinkedIn, but they don't. They're like, what's better? So they get you some shitty database like an Apollo or a Seamless or a Lead IQ or some bullshit thing like that. And so
they told your CRO that it would be so much cheaper when they reached out on LinkedIn.
They've got way more
coverage,
more mobile data,
10th of the cost,
and it's a 10th of the cost, man. It's good enough, right? It's good enough. So you're enabled with a sequencer, you're enabled with some sort of shitty database, and then the number one thing that's killing your gains is you're spending most of your time trying to build a list. And if you're at a larger organization, it's fucking impossible to actually prospect. By the way, I've been here before when we got acquired by Sprinkler out of Bushaka, where I was the VP sales and I ran the whole thing, and move into this massive organization where there's multiple layers of account ownership and subject matter experts, and I can't even touch accounts until I go through approvals because there's these like rules of engagement. And so it's almost impossible to go and sort through the best stuff that's already in your CRM. You have to go and find net new accounts, but in order to find net new accounts, there's no way to like pull the data down and even create like a master list to search off of. So what you're doing is coming up out of your own fucking head, some sort of like idea, or maybe you're using LinkedIn Navigator and you're doing some search segmentation or the shitty tool you have to find some accounts. And then you have to go and like check, is it in CRM yet? Is it in CRM yet? Because the tools aren't integrated properly and it doesn't tell you. But you're trying to find even an account you could prospect into. You finally find one, and then you go and try to find some contacts, and you're throwing it into your sequencer, and you're spending like 60, 70, sometimes 80% of your time literally just trying to find a person you can reach out to. Yeah. That's one way of doing it if you're trying to be smart about contacts. Or what you're doing is saying, hey, this is a pain in the ass, so I go in and I do my filters and I pull some massive lists down and I just sequence them all and I put them into my sequencer. It's one of those two shops, okay? Then you get to action and you're going through your sequencer or maybe your parallel dialer, because again, no one's picking up, so you have to parallel dial. But you start doing activities, and the majority of your activities result in nothing more than, ringing, voicemails, trying to navigate gatekeepers, fax tones that fucking hurt your ear. It's a pain in the ass. And then finally someone picks up the phone if you are calling. And by the way, That person hasn't worked at the company for 6 years. They're retired. This
or
stuff.
They don't even give you the time of day.
They tell you to fuck off.
Yeah, you just caught them at the worst time, and you've got all this pressure to make the most of the conversation.
Yeah. So that results in about every 20, 30, 50, sometimes 80 dials just to get one person on the phone, and lo and behold, they hang up on you. That's the world that most people.
This is a stat that I just quoted. I had 5 discovery calls today. It was very busy, but twice I quoted this number because people were asked that 2 of the people were asking to try to give them a sense of what to expect from the time you build a list just of accounts and contacts. So you've identified contacts to the point when you're going to be able to reach someone and they're going to be open to what you do. That percentage, 0.6%, maybe in the best case scenario, up to 2% of the contacts that have been added to a list are reachable and are open to what you do. 0.6 to 2, that's the range. So think about that. If you add 100 people on a list and you start working with them, it's possible 0 will be reachable and open to what you do. 0.6% means you have to add, 140 or so people for 1 to be reachable and open to what you do. 2% means every 50 that you add. That's the range. Just to give you context. Now, if that sounds like your organization, you're probably in good company, unfortunately, because that's what most SDR organizations still look like. That's the 2020 playbook. Sales engagement platform.
But don't you just run on the Agoji sequence and then it magically works? It's 27
when
steps.
When did he write that? 2016?
You gotta warm them up with a LinkedIn profile view.
He dyed his hair blue.
Shout out.
LinkedIn was pushing 200,000 impressions if you just posted. It was like easy days, easy pickings on LinkedIn. Sam Nelson blew up because of his blue hair and Agoji sequence, and it worked until multi-channel really never quite worked.
I mean, it did work for a period of time before everyone spammed the shit out of it.
But it's like 10 years old. It's super old.
So if that's you, it's a challenge, and I get it. And then maybe you are lucky enough where you have a list that's in a database and you can start calling on it, or maybe you've got an organization that sets you up with something like a Connect and Sell or a Orem or Nooks, and it's like they've kind of operationalized the list, but what you're doing now is like hitting a button and it's going brrrr, and then pause, delay, hello, can you hear me? It's this awkward delay, and so you don't actually have to do the work. It's not that big of a deal, but you're waiting 3, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 minutes before you hear something, scares the shit out of you, and then you're not prepared. You have to kind of hack your way through the opener, and then half the people hang up on you after you just got to connect. That's the other world that you live in.
That's actually exactly how it used to go.
Yeah.
The last in-office SDR team I ran was in 2019, right before the pandemic. 2020, actually, technically, in January, February, we were still in the office. And then there were moments where I'd be sitting there and someone would just be like, holy shit. Because we were running Connected Cell.
We got a real one. We got a hot one. We got a hot one.
We forgot it. And my team was using a pre-recorded greeting also.
So you hear your own voice.
You'd hear your own voice, and they'd be like, what the hell? Oh, my God. And look, parallel dialers will guarantee you'll move through your calls faster. No doubt about that.
Well, right? It feels better versus what we just talked about.
Your volume will be up. For a short period of time, your connects will be up too, because you'll work through the list way faster, but you're going to run into the same problem faster. The reachable people will be dwindled down to nothing once you're on your left to what your list is, and then you're just left to more of your time list building. And you're probably missing some real conversations, some connects where you had that awkward delay. Which, by the way, if you're a executive at a tech company and you hear that delay on your phone, you already know what's happening. Every single one of us knows. It's happened to me before. I got a call the other day. I picked it up. Hello. I literally heard the boop. And then I said to the person, they introduced themselves. I'm like, are you using like a parallel dialer by any chance? Like, yeah, how'd you know?
It's fucking obvious. Now, the dialers will tell you, oh, there's no delay. You're not going to hear the beep.
No delay.
But it comes through. And the thing is, the dialer might not be the thing that's coming through, but a lot of you, here's the other thing, are fucking dialing from your computer. Get a damn headset, right? Get a headset. All right, that's another plug for.
All right. Well, so all right. That's what it's like for some people who might be watching this, and don't worry, like we're going to tell you what it can look like specifically at outbound operator clients or anyone that Ryan and I have worked with to deploy their system, their tools, find the rep, whether we're looking for a fractional and we've built the fractional cold callers suite of tools, or it's a client and we're going to go find full-time. this is what it looks like. We're going to describe for you what that future can be, especially if you're a skilled cold caller, if you relish the moment to have conversations. I remember back in 2021, 22, when I was trying to get Stylo off the ground, I was doing a lot of cold calling. And I just wanted more conversations. I would love the moments where I could get but I was hardly getting them. I was using a parallel dialer, feeding data from Rightbound and Apollo, and it just wasn't enough. So what does it look like when you have day one in the Outbound Operator Engine, the Outbound engine? What does that actually look like?
Is night and day, right? So the first thing that an outbound operator company is going to do is there's somebody at their organization who's responsible for building a list for you, right? So and it's not perfect.
List building.
It's not perfect, but it is accounts that they say they want to be doing business with, and the people at those companies that they say they want you to be talking to, that's already been enriched with the best potential data vendor that they're paying for. That's been sent through a system, TitanX, that tells you actually who picks up the phone and who doesn't before you ever even make a dial. That's all done. You sit.
All this done before you've ever made one dial, just to get you the best quality data, verify who is reachable. You got workable to reachable, and the reachable list of people makes its way over to you.
And once you log into the system, it's super simple. It'll tell you this is the list you need to call, and you might have a couple calls, but if you're running buckets, you're going to start your day. If this is day one, you're going to call cold, but if it was day 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to start your day with follow-ups. These are people that you've spoken to in the past. It'll be right there, nice and easy for you. You click a button, all your previous notes are there, and it's one-to-one. You could take a moment, look at the record, be prepared, click dial, and if any of you follow my stuff, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 out of 10 of those dials on the phone like magic, okay?
Personally,
it's very simple.
I never go back to the experience of 3, 5 to 10 people at a time that I don't know who's going to pick up. Once I've experienced the one-to-one, you know who it is, their name, their title. You can already see any custom notes that we're going to feed in there if it makes sense for the client, and often it does. I can already see my history. Did we have a previous connection? And all the other details that I might need before they pick up. And then how many clicks does it actually take for me to be in a conversation?
Start dialing, look at the record, start calling. 2 clicks. And then if that one doesn't pick up, maybe 3 to 4 maximum clicks before you get somebody on the phone.
That's it.
In addition to that, we're going to have a nice talk track already built for you that you're going to have right there in front of you. So you not only know who you're calling, but you're going to know exactly what to say. And this is important, even if you're good on the phones, because I don't know about you, but for me, I'm blind without my script. I mean, I can make calls and I can get through them, but it is night and day when I have my framework in front of me every single time, especially once I get into the meat of a conversation where I want to deliver the real pitch. It needs to be nice and tight where we've taken some time to operationalize it in a way that we're using the words, phrases, and sentences that are going to maximize the likelihood that the prospect is going to resonate with the message. That's already been kind of tuned up and tested. Ronan and I have run pilots. We've shown that some of this is going to work directionally. And all you have to do is follow the words. This is like Wolf of Wall Street.
Before the people who are watching this say it, because the people who are watching this that go, that sounds great, are also the people who are going to say, I don't need a damn script from you, usually, because the highly skilled people believe, and I used to be one of these people, which is why I'm talking to this point. I used to think, I don't need a script. I just need to know my probe and provoke, the core piece of the pitch. I'll handle everything else from there. And then maybe give me 1 or 2 specific challenges, responses that come up that I should be aware of that show I know insider lingo. If I had that bare minimum, I could run. But the reason why I've now been fully converted to use your script is really simple. It's the transition between thinking about every call as a sales opportunity to every call being a marketing activity. I am delivering a conversational ad as a cold caller. Ads have to be consistent in order to see the results and know, is it working or not? If the ad is different, I can never compare my ads and the results. If your script is always different, you can never compare truly, was it what I said? Or was it the prospect's title or the industry or something else?
Very difficult to measure. And when you do it in the right way, you're now, you had a conversation, you've used the messaging, and the system is designed to easily take notes. In fact, the system we have now too has a nice little AI transcription, so you can wait a couple minutes, grab the summary, pop that in there, take a couple more notes on it, disposition your call, the call result itself, update its status for yourself so you know if you're going to follow up with them or not, put the date you want to follow up with them, next call. And you're going to be in a conversation every 3 to 5 dials all day long. Again, the other thing that's nice about our system is if you're working at Outbound Operators clients, is they have hired you to do one job and one job only. Call for at least 6 hours a day in this system, getting 25 to 35-ish dials an hour, having 5 to 7, sometimes 8 connects every hour, and resulting in about 20 plus completed conversations every single day with the right accounts and the people at those accounts that the company says they want to be speaking to. The other thing about this is our customers are educated. Sometimes they take a little bit of time to get there, but they're educated on the idea that you actually get paid, not just for meetings.
Wait for it.
You get paid for those completed conversations. So you just show up, make calls, do the system the right way. If you're hitting those 20 completed conversations every day, you're almost doubling your compensation from there. You're getting half of your variable compensation just from that component. But if you look at your hourly on that, it can almost double, especially if you go over the number, just by doing that. It could be anywhere from $4 to $5 for every completed conversation. So for every hour, you're making another $20 to $30 just by doing what they expect you to do. Average SDR makes about $30 an hour. You're making an extra $20, $30 an hour just making calls. You just got yourself up to around a $60 per hour gig by sitting in a room anywhere in the world that has good air conditioning, or you could be Ronan right now dialing in the background in San Diego with some palm trees. Doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you have good internet connection. Making about $60 an hour just to make the calls. In addition to that, the stress isn't on scheduling meetings. We expect you to activate the market, as Ronan mentioned. This is about marketing, it's advertising. And so you're going to have an organization that is going to take not just meetings, but also people who have expressed interest, intrigue, intent, or looking for information. And you could pass that over to a senior seller who's going to do the follow-up. And even if it's not a meeting, that ends up becoming a meeting or an opportunity, you're going to get your other half of the compensation. So your job now is not stressful. It's not trying to push people into meetings when it doesn't matter. It's about doing the work, making the calls, having lots of conversations, completing those conversations, getting the data back into the system, and then doing that over and over and over again, and letting the sales organizations pick up the sales conversation when they're actually ready for sales. The whole outcome here becomes literally all the waste and frustration that comes around the sales development role, that is building lists, doing activities that result in nothing. It's all gone. The job now is to sit down and have 20, 30 plus completed conversations, which might be 40 to 50 literal conversations every single day. And if that sounds like something that would blow your mind and something you'd want to do, you should reach out and learn more. Ronan, how do people get started?
It's pretty easy. We're almost always hiring. I'd say 80 to 90% of the time we have at least one open job for a client or a fractional gig that's open. Find us on LinkedIn. You could go to our website, outboundoperators.com as well. Link our LinkedIns if they're not already in the description of the show. Connect with me, connect with Ryan. Check out what we're doing. And also, if you have questions, you want to explore what this could look like at your organization, feel free to reach out to. We're always happy to chat. One last bonus thing is that I'd say most SDRs, when they're new to a job, they're given 6 to 9 months to ramp. And it can be really frustrating if you're a hunter, A-type seller who wants to just go and do your thing because you're really good and skilled. If you're an A player, most, if not all of our SDRs are fully ramped by week 3 or 4. And that's because you're able to have 25 to 40 connects every single day. You can have so many more opportunities and at-bats to refine your skill. You're also going to get world-class coaching daily from Ryan. Sometimes I pop in there on occasion, and access to the rest of our cohort as well. So thanks for tuning into this one. A little bit of under the hood of what it's like to work at an outbound operator client. If you're a skilled cold caller and this is appealing to you, reach out to us. But as always, I'm Ronan Passar. That's Ryan Reiser. We're the Outbound Operators.
Peace.